My Hero Academia, Season 7, Episode 16/153. The Chain Thus Far. The past comes into play huge in this episode, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rest of what to expect from this season. Let's talk about it. All right, guys. Brent here, back with you. Variants cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, My Hero Academia. And as always, if you like the content, be sure to hit the like button. If you don't like it, dislike button. And if you love the content and watch to the end of the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Clearly, there's something you liked in the video. But look, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. We start off this episode with Kurogiri kind of having a conversation with Toga. And Kurogiri's conversation with Toga is like, what's your plan? What's your angle? What are you trying to work on? Let me kind of enable this thing for you. Because if we remember correctly, Kurogiri is basically the ultimate transport portal. He is able to go like, oh, you want to go from here to there? Boom, I got you. As long as I know where to go, I can make this happen for you. And Toga being, just Toga, anytime she inhales any type of blood or swallows any type of blood from someone, she's able to copy and paste their quirk, but to an insane degree. And because Toga is fully powered up by the power of the emotions involving the death of Twice at the hand of Hawks, she's able to amplify her powers to an insane level. Basically, the battlefield that was originally just Endeavor, Hawks, some of Class 1A versus all 4-1 is now just litanied with the entire bodies of the Twice army, which might as well just be the Deadpool Corps for all intents and purposes, as well as the Class 1A Stadium Sphere, where Deku was going on with Shigaraki, and we still have Bakugo dead. We have an army of Twices just now annihilating this place and slowly weighing down on the entire, the building dynamics to keep it basically propelled up in the air, now being weighed down in a tragic turn of events. Luckily, Ochako and Frappi were able to make it through the portal that Kurogiri created to get Twice there, or our girl Toga there. So we were able to have Ochaku to be able to kind of have some kind of conversation with Toga. Because those two are destined to be talking for a good long while. Those two have similar interests, similar alignments, but at the end of the day, the way they go about things, as we're clearly seeing, are entirely drastically different. Toga is dealing with her grief through extreme circumstances and a violent reaction to the series of events. She isn't just like taking her friend's death in stride as a sign of, hey, maybe this life isn't for me. Instead, she's taking her friend's death and using it as a justification for her actions and a absolute revenge moment, because she has it out for Hawks, and Hawks seeing now, 100,000 plus bodies of someone that he ended the life of. I'm sure it's going to push him through some PTSD stages in the absolute worst manner possible. I mean, can you imagine ending someone and the next thing you know, there's 100,000 of them just running free, attacking you, your friends, and everything you stood for, and just kind of be like, what, what do I, what do I do in this moment in time? How do I handle this? Did I really take care of what's going on here? If you didn't have any predisposition to Toga's quirk, this would make things even more insane than it already is. And ultimately, we also had our boy Dabi slash Toya finally make it through and have a conversation with Endeavor. And of course, Endeavor's first thought when seeing Toya slash Dabi is, hey, where the heck is Shoto? What happened in that battle there? And Dabi is still basically reeling from that insane punch to the stomach. I don't know how hard that man hit him, but clearly it knocked a lot of common sense out of Dabi, because he's not being nearly as edgy or sharp as he normally is. And he literally is looking down at Endeavor's like, Shoto's a lot stronger than I anticipated him being. He basically ruined my plans. I'm not going to be able to go all out the way in which I want to be able to ensure that I end you, because that's been his beef from day one. Dabi hates Endeavor and wants to destroy him and his world. He just wanted to do the psychological warfare first, which, caused significant damage to Endeavor's career and how he was viewed. But luckily for Endeavor, so to speak, most of Japan kind of went down under siege in this anime. So as far as people being able to hold things against him, they were kind of preoccupied with other things. They were able to move on rather quickly, which I think was the only major flaw that Dobby's plan really essentially had. So Dobby is now about to go all out against Endeavor, who Endeavor is still, as we remember, missing this whole portion of his right arm and is now basically fighting off an army of twice. Well, Toya is basically just giving him straight up delivery and just being like, "Hey, you suck. Everything is this is your fault. You deserve this. I can't believe you changed Shoto and made him kind of your clone in this regard." He's just having that verbal tete to tete, and they're having this conversation as things are going on. Meanwhile, back in our floating sphere of doom, which is slowly coming out of the air, Class 1A is slowly being just devoured by this army of twice. Monoma was finally tackled, so he broke eye contact with Shigaraki, which is worst case scenario. Shigaraki's quirks, even though he's been held back this entire time and still managed to body everybody but Deku. Think about that. He has bodied everybody quirkless. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Is now being able to finally regenerate, heal, get himself back to 100%, and then finally activate his decay quirk. Shigaraki is about to take this situation from bad to worse. If he uses his decay quirk on the ground that Bakugo is laying, that's it. There is no absolute last Hail Mary for everyone to be able to have, Bakugo's heart resealed up and be able to get him back active and moving around. Luckily for our heroes, well, not let's go back in a series of events. The villains are still hacking the Class 1A servers. They're trying to basically cause an implosion on the inside of all the technology so that the building comes down even faster because the quicker they can get Shigaraki back on ground, the more powerful he is. The more ground he touches, the better. It's basically just amplifying his already broken quirk, which, gotta say, it's a fantastic quirk. Props to our writer from Jump Comics. Fantastic job there. But the good side for our heroes, La Brava is basically hacking her way to glory, and she was able to get Mr. Skeptic and basically hack him back, find out his location, send reverse viruses in the form of dancing cats, and be able to get his location so the other heroes can track him down, pinpoint where he was, and they got him dead to rights. The hero showed up, and he is being arrested basically as we speak because there's an army of heroes just outside his little cave he was operating in, and now he's kind of doomed. La Brava, unfortunately, is not able to save everything because she's like, I can't undo everything that he broke. And at the same point, I have to rewrite whole new code for everything going on there. And if you're someone who works in code, being able to rewrite an entire code on the fly while buildings falling on the sky, probably not ideal work conditions. Just gonna have to go off, I guess, there as an uninformed expert here. And then also, we saw that Gentle makes a surprise return as someone who's been able to he was arrested, but as part of the jailbreak last season, he was one of the villains that held back his entire basically division of villains from breaking free because he was like, look, I was given a second chance. I'm going to do right by this. Deku inspired me through the power of friendship speech that every anime shonen hero can absolutely do, just at a moment's notice. Gentle was able to subdue his division, and then he just sat there and waited for the police to show back up and have a conversation. So he was able to hold back his whole cell block and make that work. The police showed up and were like, hey, what do you want for this? You just not only didn't flee, but you held back your entire cell block. What gives? What do you want? And he's just like, I just want to be back with La Brava. I want to be able to see her. I just want to fix basically a lot of the damage that had been done to their relationship and things that had been going a little bit drastic for them. And Gentle then uses his powers to basically trampoline himself up, grab the bottom of Class 1A, use his quirk, and make it so that it's able to float significantly longer than what it is through a trampoline effect, kind of releasing some of the gravity pressure so our heroes have more time to figure out what's going on here. Him and Deku share a moment where they're both almost crying because when isn't Deku crying? And ultimately have, that connection. But Deku loses eye contact with Shigaraki, and then he has to be snapped back by one of the hero's quirks inside of him. Those little be interesting sharing a mind with like 8 other individuals and be like, hey, Shigaraki is doing the thing. He is trying to move his hand to the ground. What are you doing? And Deku was like, oh, I forgot about this. And then as he's about to spring into action, and Shigaraki is about to put his hand ultimately down on the ground, boom, a sniper bullet goes in and rips off the entirety of his hand. And then there's another shot directly to his temple for good measure. And as we all remember, we had the sniper from last season absolutely go off on Deku and tried to end him when he was going through his whole Dark Hero arc, but he won her over through the power of friendship. Man, he's calling in all of those favors right here, right now, and it's paying off for Class 1A. I'm super excited to see next week's battle. It looks like we're going to see Endeavor and Dabi go at it full force, and we're going to see Shigaraki and Deku basically kick things up into high gear because Shigaraki looks like he is absolutely torn up in the next episode. I'm excited to see that with you, the viewer. Be sure to that subscribe button so we can watch it together on our live watch parties that we do every Saturday morning at 2:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If not, catch a recap with me. I'll see you there too.